A diverse group of teachers came together in Missoula, Montana for one intensive week in July 2011 for a seminar titled Worlds Apart but Not Strangers, Holocaust Education and Indian Education for All. Sponsored by New York City's Memorial Library and the Montana Writing Project, teachers used literacy, and especially writing, as tools to drive inquiry. Participants heard and shared stories and experiences in order to gain a better understanding of the Nazi Holocaust and federal policies affecting Native peoples, and to explore ways to make classroom connections between the two. The focus on the past included testimony from Boris Ikonikov, a survivor of the Nazi Holocaust, and also the history of Jewish life in Montana. A descendant of the Bear River Massacre of the Blackfeet bore witness to the lasting impact of U.S. policies on Native peoples of our nation. And participants took a field trip to sites significant in the story of the forced removal of the Salish people from their Bitterroot Valley homelands. The resilience of Jewish and Native communities of the present were celebrated in music. Performances by Blackfeet musician Jack Gladstone, Chutzpah, a Missoula klezmer band, and the drumming and playful teaching of Kevin Kicking Woman helped turn our tears to joy.
This night, this lady who escaped from St. Petersburg, she came here and said, "Take your baby and go with me." My mom took me, and we go with her. She put us in root cellar, and we were in root cellar for 2 years. She saved our life, and if somebody says something, she was killed. She will be killed. So she understood what she did.
And she just looked at us again and she said, "You girls want me to go to jail?" She said, "If I tell you the story, the bulls will leave. And I don't want to go to jail." And she said, I'll tell you the story. She said, "If you girls go and tell on me, I'll go to jail and I'll probably never get out."
After this happened, what I tell, my mom was so afraid that she didn't tell me we're Jew. I didn't know I'm Jew to the 11 years or so. And I was boy, and I know at this time I was 13 years old, and I knew I'm Jew, and I was in this meeting with people who survived, and I understand what it is. It's campaign, and you wait every day, and you are not part of the society. You are some schmacka.
We've learned to hate ourselves. We learn to hate the things that are not pretty about us, the things that are not kind and accepted, that anger and the hurt that we have and we share and we are. The tolerance of shutdown is silence. And we do silence very well. Very well. Because it feels like we haven't, as a people, healed. Because we see it in our community. We see the disorder of life that has come about because of it.
The lens of inquiry then turned to the present as we considered the roles people choose in their daily interactions with each other, as well as the stereotypes and prejudice affecting our schools and our communities today.
I knew I was going to learn some things that I maybe didn't want to learn. And that now that I know them, it's kind of like, it kind of changed my whole way of thinking about things as a human and what it means to be human. And
I think it takes a lot of courage for the folks that are here right now to be here, and to have honest discussions. And I think it's going to require that of future folks as well, to be willing to face uncomfortable things, because they're so important, not only for us as people, but also for our students.
I am glad that I got to be a student experiencing what my students will experience in class, which is some level of discomfort at sometimes, but I mean, everybody went to places of discomfort, and that is where that cognitive dissonance is, that's where that growth is.
And sharing stories is the most powerful piece of it, I think. As people share their stories, it's hard to turn away.
There's something we say in our work, which is you don't change people's minds, you change their hearts, and stories touch hearts. So that's, to me, where the most valuable learning happens. I'd heard about the Baker Massacre in the kind of 2-minute version. And I'd heard the 2-minute version probably 20 or 30 times. But to hear from a woman who's spent the last 20 years studying that one night, and that you could spend 20 years and not know all there is to know about really the months, if not years, of policy that led to that night, and then the more than 100 years of impact that night has had on the community. And not even surprising, but kind of, I was awestruck by it, by how correct it is to spend that much time trying to understand something. And you have to figure out how to connect that to what we see right now happening on the Blackfeet Reservation. You know, what's happening right now, and how do the policies, how do the experiences, how do the wellness of that community absolutely tied to that event. And it's just, to me, that's unwrapping the events means being able to make those time-space connections.
You know, I guess I get so comfortable in the world that I live in that I forget to look at the world from other people's perspectives. And this class has helped me do that, you know, to look at it and say, well, wait a minute, just because it was like this for you doesn't mean it was like this for this, or for this person, or for that person. And I want to take what I learned in this class and take it into my classroom. When you don't know, you don't have to do anything about it. But once you know, then that's like when the change comes. Now that I know a little bit more, it makes me interested to want, I want to learn more.
The synagogue, I thought that was really good for me. To step out of my own world, which basically is like a lot of people call it Native American church, I just call it ceremony. But to walk into their synagogue, even though I haven't really seen much other than like the witness account, it was good for me. Walk through the barrier that maybe I would have created, which is just the doorway. The perspective of when I leave at the end of the week, I know I'll be a changed person. I've opened my eyes, my mind. I've opened my heart more, and I like it. It's a good thing.
Looking forward, I really want to take larger steps in seeking out those primary sources, not only for Holocaust education, but for Indian education for all, and find where these primary sources are at that I can then use to teach my students about the hidden history, to talk truth with my students.
And then the question that we dealt with here was, where do we go from here? And I guess none of us really knows, except that the truth must be spoken in a way that it can be heard.
The DVD, Not in Our Town, a story of the response of citizens of Billings, Montana to hate crimes in their city, ends with the narrator's observation, "Today we can say not in our town. Tomorrow we might say not in our country." Worlds Apart But Not Strangers aims to help teachers work with their students to move one step closer to that reality.
Shane, my head was to Shane, my meer was to Shane and in the veld. My meer was to get, my meer hast du it, my meer bist du tired von Geld. Wir Shane meid lachen, schön gewollt, nehmen weg von sie alle ausgegeben, ob ich noch dir. Mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du kein, bei mir bist du einer.